2020 came and the world shifted. I don't think I even need to tell y'all what y'all know, but it shifted in a massive way, way like San Andreas fault zone way. But when Pacific started his channel that I had many years ago, I started on the premise that after living in Hong Kong and after being overseas and going through several tumultuous relationships in the United States and even one in Hong Kong, growing up under a mother who was domineering and could never say I'm sorry, and living overseas really opened my eyes to the fact that Western women, not all women are like this, but most Western women are a mess. And to say that today is offensive. Women will scream out, that is untrue. Most women in our culture cannot take constructive criticism, specifically my Caucasian race. Western women in general, that would include Canada, the US, and America, and good old down under. Y'all heard my stories when I lived in Hong Kong, 6 foot tall women with the big breasts and obnoxious and rude and just thought that they were all the cat's meow in Hong Kong. It's like, it doesn't matter where Caucasian women go. They're legends in their own mind. YAWN may know. Stumbled on a channel the other day. I was, the feed for YouTube. Y'all know, been watching the election madness and the stuff that's going on in this country. And I've been focused on my personal world where I live and my job and my home and trying to remodel this house and get things to a point of finish. And it amazes me that with all of the changes that have happened, nations are shifting. Russia's at war with the Ukraine. There's definitely some things in the air that make us aware that Bible prophecy could definitely happen. It's going to happen, but now we're more in tune that, there's some stuff here. It was interesting to watch Biden state that even though 2/3 of the country don't believe he's going the right direction, he says, I'm not going to change anything. Biden's on a mission to destroy this country. Make no mistake about it. The world elites, they don't like America's freedom. The UN wants to get involved. This is why there's a big problem with Russia, because the Democrats don't like that Russia is saying, I don't play by a one world order. And to that, I applaud Putin. That's the only thing I applaud him for. America should not be playing into the one world agenda, but Scripture will not be null and void. We're headed towards a one world government. It's just a matter of when, not if, but when. But with all this stuff going on, transgender pronouns, that's the big new thing. One thing has not changed. It's almost like static. It's like when I left Hong Kong and I came back to Colorado many years ago, and thank God I left that place. It was one of the worst places to date women. And I haven't dated now in, almost 5 years. And it's been a freeing thing. We had the lockdown. We had all the different things going on. And I'm human. There's times I want a girlfriend. But when I look at what's going on out there, I'm glad there's nobody in my home here. I can work on a project, and if I have a tizzy fit about something and blow up because something isn't working right, I'm going to worry about somebody saying, oh my gosh, you got anger management issues. I don't have to worry about that. But I stumbled onto a channel in the feed. We're not gonna blow the name out there. Not gonna do it. The name is a girl name, but the last name has to do with divine, and I'm just like, that obviously is a channel name, but women like to take that narcissist, that I'm hot stuff. Woman had a video the other day saying that when men lust after you, that's not a compliment. A lot of what she said was true. Talking about when a man looks at you for lust, that's not a compliment. In the same breath, she talks about that she sought to get all those likes and all that attention, and she's had her share of men. And then she says, but in the end, they don't stay. And she made that classic dig, like the father of my two children. I want to stop right there because this is something that has always angered me. MGTOW has said this for many, many years. Black Pigeon Speaks. So many channels have talked about this dynamic. Pacific has spoken about it. When you listen to white Caucasian women speak in this country, they do not take responsibility for their stuff 99% of the time. My own experiences have wrought that out in half a century plus of years. I avoid Caucasian women as much as I can. I have some that are close friends that are conservative, that are God-fearing, that actually don't have a tizzy fit about my views and my rants. They will listen in and like most of what I say. That's a rarity. We live in a world today where I feel that most females in this culture are just rebels. They're rebellious to everything. They're full of themselves, narcissistic, materialistic, self-serving. Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram has given them a place to make themselves a temple deity. Likes, hearts, emojis. And this crap has transcended the globe. I love the Philippines, but the girls in the Philippines, 9,000 selfies, this armpit, this armpit. I've said that. I've said it so many times, it's disgusting. As if it's the man's fault that he's not there because he created children. You open your legs. You gave that part to him. If you can get the milk for free, why are you going to buy the cow? But women always play the victim. They always run back to their little, guys are so mean and so bad. I told you I used to go to a rec center in Colorado and I'd watch the skinny, petite, white women walk in. Every one of them were stuck up. Every one of them was all full of themselves. Listening to one in there laying down, talking about her cat was going to cost $2,000 at the vet. And her boyfriend told her, well, why don't you just put the cat down? And all the simps in the sauna, the guys who were lusting after her little twiggy micro bikini, there was nothing to her. And me, after living in Asia and dating women, the beautiful thing is I come back here and I look at these women that I used to look at thinking, oh, they're hot. But I've had 57 years of experience watching. They don't do anything for me. It looks so overrated. The way they carry themselves is it's just more that homogenized cookie cutter factory. Just like you buy a Toyota pickup, you can get a different color, but they're all the same dang thing. You can get a couple different options, but when you're talking about Western women, there's no mystique, no mystery. They all follow that pattern like minions. There's really no difference. They wear the same boring clothes. They come up with the same bulletproof in their mind. Let me say that again, bulletproof in their mind ideas. The men are so bad. And I watched a couple of the videos. Many of them were sugar babies, how to get a car. And You got a grown woman. I'm assuming she's in her 40s. I don't know. Then she's got a cleavage showing dress on high heels. And then she's got one that says, "Oh my gosh, last night I had 100 and such views or likes. And this morning I woke up, oh my God, I had 260. How do these women get a channel and get away with this? Because she's a female. Because all the guys that would hope to get a piece of her are thumbs up and that stuff. I've talked about porn. I've talked about soft porn. This woman is not attractive to me. I don't find her attractive. In fact, I left a comment on one of her videos saying, you talk about men and their lust, but then you're out here in your little high heels traipsing around. And, I've used bold words, slut tease. A slut tease is a woman who's not going to go out with you, not interested in getting a date with you, but going to dress provocatively because just like Facebook, she wants all those likes unless you're old, you're not attractive, then you're a pervert. I watch this play out in the rec center all the time. Oh my God, these perverts. They're grown men. You're coming in there with nothing for the imagination. They're single. They're going to look. How does that constitute them being a pervert? Just like I said about certain liberal ethnic groups, you cannot get through to them to wean them off of the nipple of the Democratic Party and get them to think for themselves and get out from under the party that enslaved them years ago and keeps them enslaved today. You cannot go to these kind of Western women and get them to see the light about anything. Number one, it's like a cult. You know how a cult works, right? They tell you, don't listen to anybody else. Just listen to us. Read our material. Stay with us. We'll guide you straight. When it comes to Western women, they've already got their little checks and balances. And I say that facetiously because there's no balance there, but they got their little checks, their little, spring traps that they've got loaded all over the place that when a man says something that they don't want to hear, they use words like, oh, he's negative or he's got anger management. There's something wrong with him. No, I'm critiquing you. You open yourself up to it. And you're going to sit there and criticize all men. And then on all those videos where she puts men on blast, not allowed to make the comments. So in another video, I said, I think it's interesting that you close out the videos where you put men on blast and we can't make a comment. But that's okay. Thank you for giving me material to do another video. I'll be doing one shortly. I'm sure she'll come over here and look. Everybody remember Gypsy? I talked about Gypsy, not her real name. She went on and attacked for a year and watched every single video I made. I mean, first of all, I don't think I'm God's gift to women. I'm not. I don't try to be. I don't want to be. I'm Pacific. And I'm proud of that. Not in an ego megalomaniacal sort of way, but when you age and when you go through stuff, you become comfortable with who you are and you say, I really don't care what anybody else thinks. Now, we've heard women say this, I don't care what anybody thinks. We know that. Even if people are trying to help you get your head squared away, you don't want to hear what they have to say. Western women, just like people in a cult, just like ethnic people in the Democratic Party, they're the hardest people to reach. They're impossible to reach. It's going to take a Damascus Road experience for them to wham, do an about face and wake up. Growing up with a domineering mother who never said, I'm sorry, being married and involved with women over the years and divorced, and none of them have ever taken ownership for their wrongs. I was at work one day and a woman went off on me. And I just looked at her and I thought to myself, you are so far out of line. I bit my tongue. I stood my ground, but I bit my tongue so that I wouldn't end up in the boss's office. And a little time went by, and she actually, a black woman, came up to me and said, I'm sorry. I was so out of line. I was dumbfounded. You're not going to get that from a Caucasian woman. I mean, she was totally out of line. There was no reason for that. I've had Asian women apologize to me. I wrote some notes so I could kind of track on this. Women in a funk over how men should be, but never mind their own BS. You ever notice that? They accuse us of projecting. Those that are accusing us of doing something are usually doing it themselves. Women will say, you can't judge me, but they'll freely judge us men. They say, you don't know me, but they claim to know us. Cut through that stuff, grab your pooper scooper and shovel the BS out of the way and walk on with your head held high, because hang on, I'm going to get to something here. Most women have BS. We all have a certain amount of dysfunction. The people who have the biggest dysfunction in American society are those that think there's nothing wrong with them. And believe me, we got a lot of people out there, mostly Caucasian females. Okay, so she did a video talking about sex, lust, men slammed, labeled, compartmentalized, and declared unworthy. Smug, self-righteous teaser slut teasers that now are looking gross and undesirable want to put us on blast. Women that played around with man after man, did everything they could, Botox, detox, I'm being facetious, skin tucks, nipple earrings, whatever you want to do. And why do white women do this? Why do so many white women go through all that? It's funny, as I get older, I really like a natural woman. Natural colored hair, not that dyed crap in a box. Want to be blonde. I hate that. Breast implants. Choking off half your intestines so you can lose weight, doing whatever they do, shrinking your stomach. I don't even know what. Now you got men that want to sew up their balls and take testosterone or estrogen and grow breasts. And, I have a feminine side, but Pacific is not going to be, I'm a girl. I'm a man, and I always will be. And as you know, I've been judged, written off, laughed at, mocked all my life by Western women. And that's why I went to Asia many years ago. Unfortunately, the woman I got involved with, that was the focus of my life for 4 years, had been very westernized by growing on a steady diet of Hollywood culture. Hollywood culture is toxic as hell. It's showing mostly white women living the life of luxury and splendor. Hollywood always puts those really good-looking women out with the nipples poking through the shirt. They don't show the women that wake up and look like Amtrak hit them. They don't show the women whose credit is in the toilet. And they got 3 kids that don't know how to behave because they don't discipline. They don't show any of that. Just like beer commercials show these hot-looking women in there and the stud men. What they really need to do is show the back of an old bar in some rundown town somewhere and see these wrinkled up women with their stuff sagging all the way down to the basement, their motorcycles parked out front, gruff. I was in northern Mississippi a few years ago when I went through the Gulf, and I checked in at a Super 8, parked the truck. There's a manager. I said, where's their restaurant? He says, right there. It's a bar, no windows. I went in, and the minute I opened the door, the first thing to confront me is, oh, they don't have anti-smoking laws here. And I walked in there, had my chain on my neck, looking out a place in Southernville. But I'm here to eat. I'm not here to hit on people. I'm not eating. I just want to get through the evening, eat, and go back to my room, do some laundry upstairs, and get on the internet and prepare for the next voyage of miles the next day across the Great South. So sitting in there observing one ugly female after another, smoking, lips wrinkled, crusty. I listen to their conversations, their southern drawl, that none of these women are desirable. One man walked over and he said, "Is that chain real?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Can I touch it?" He says, "Dang." He says, "I like that. That's cool." So somebody reached out, was nice, went back to his spot. The lady, the bartender that served me, I bought a chicken salad there, was the bomb. She was beautiful. She was kind to me. And I have a bartender friend here where I live at one of the nightclubs I will be going to tomorrow. And she's she's pretty. She's got tattoos and all that. She's dating a guy. The guy's a nice guy. He's a bouncer at the nightclub there as well. And what is ironic is this bartender told me that we have to act almost like prostitutes. She said, "We're a form of legal prostitutes, except we don't go home and we don't do sex." She said, "My goal is to be nice to every one of you and make you think that I'm interested in you, and I'm going to go home with you so that I can get the tips." And I never thought about that. But let's go back to the bar in northern Mississippi, just not that far from Memphis, Tennessee. That was a trip. And all these women in here think they're all that. Smoke, smoke, smoke. All got their alcohol. None of them gave me the time of day. Not that I wanted it. I could tell by looking around the room. I live clean. I'm healthy. None of them in there was, except the bartender waitress. She was the only one that was good looking, slim, nice frame on her. And the funny thing is my life has changed so much over the years that I can be around really good looking women and they'll be nice to me because I don't hit on them. I don't hit on them for several reasons. Number one, they're going to say no. They're not interested in me. I'm not their type. I don't make enough money. I don't, the glass, whatever their hangups reasons are. And after a life of growing up hearing the rounds of condemnation and laughter from women, it taught me, going overseas taught me, reading body language when you can't speak the native language taught me something. It taught me how to turn around and look at women and analyze them and try to be as objective as I can. Women have a bad experience with men, and therefore they become a self-assumed authority on clinical diagnosis of all of us. This woman went on to say that when a man looks at you for your heart and, not the sex and not your body parts, and number one, I'm going to tell you something, lady, if you're listening. And God wired us very biologically. We're sight oriented. And I know modern feminism really likes to condemn that, but women are sight oriented too. They just pretend that they're not like us. They're not like us, but they listen to them. Oh, Brad Pitt, married women that say they love their husband will go on about Sylvester Stallone or whoever the who's who in Hollywood, then now to come and how they'd like to him. They have lust too. But I want to talk about what I call the six-string guitar theory. How many guitar strings do you have, American and Western women? How many? Most of you only have one. I shouldn't say most of you. A percentage of you have one. That's the beauty string. You don't have personality. You don't have heart. You don't really have anything to offer anybody else. And I don't know, I've picked up toy guitars, children's guitars, where all the strings are busted but one, and Down, and you twang it a couple times. Down, down, down. Well, that just broke. Trash can. You women that played on the sexual part have devalued yourself, not us. When you put yourself out there's a slut tease. When you show cleavage and body parts, I and most of us are going to look. Now, the difference between me and some men, not all, I'm going to look and go, hot, but Pacific doesn't belong with her and she don't belong with me. I've been around the block long enough. Not because I'm not worthy of her. She's not worthy of me. And this is where women have to flip the script. How many times have you heard, oh, he's lucky to get her? No, she's lucky to have me. You don't hear that, do you? It's a one-sided, feminist-dominated matrix in which we dwell. Pacific stepped out of that matrix to a degree when I moved in and amongst an ethnic group where I am the minority. When I go to the white side of town, I feel very uncomfortable because I see the same thing, whether it's in a doctor's office, the mall, stuck up, rude, no people skills, no genuine stuff. If you look at most white women that have been going through the modern workplace, they're plastic. Hi, welcome to fake. African American women, on the other hand, you got two types there. You got the kind that are just rude as hell, or you got the kind that will actually look at you and smile. And what I've learned is I can tell them, I like your outfit. They know I'm not hitting on them. They light up like a tree. Thank you. I bought this and I like it too. Most African American women that are polite love compliments. Compliment white women? Oh God, he wants to get down my pants. No, honey, I actually don't. That's what porn's for. Because porn proliferates because of you Western style women. We're the number one nation on porn in the country, in the world, okay? And the reason for that is if women have made themselves unattractive in every way, even if they're sexy. After going through my own personal experiences, the women that make the best love are Asian women overseas. White women have sex, lots and lots of sex, but very little making love. And I'm using semantics, but I'm not using semantics. Anybody who's been down my road knows exactly what I'm talking about. Caucasian women are dead in bed. They slut tease. They're more interested in a shopping mall. They're more interested in their self-importance and more interested in Starbucks, SUVs, dogs, and all this stupid stuff, OCDing over their dogs. Got to have their cable, got to have their bills, got to have this, got to have this. And if a man comes to their life, we have to tolerate it, put up, acquiesce to it. But we have to change everything about ourselves that offends that woman if we hope to get a date and stay in a relationship with her. Bullshit. Pacific flipped the script. I had somebody tell me, because I wear my shirts off the shoulder a lot. I had a couple say, well, you look gay. I said, really? I said, if you looked at the gay guys that are in here, I said, they're all wearing plaid button-up shirts. They got their hair bowl short. They're pimply faced. They're white. None of them are attractive. None of them. And they all talk like this. So how do I look like that? When has any of them come in? You know, I want to get shirts made. They come underneath like the Greek and the Roman style. I got to find somebody who can sew one up like that for me and start my own trend. I've actually had compliments from women. I like your style. That's really different and it fits you. Took guts to do that. Now, white women come in and see that and they go, what the hell? You got your clothes from Target or Christopher Banks or, yeah, okay. A boring cookie cutter. You're walking in with your man who's, sorry, not decent looking. Okay, for my 57 years old, I think I've done well. on the physical side of things. I don't think I'm God's gift to women, but I look at most of the men that these women go after. None of them are what I would call hot, but they're earning more money than she is. Or they're soy boys. And I'm running into this younger generation, which has really shifted. When she made the comment in her video, like the father of my two kids, immediately I cringed. I thought, oh, yes, let's demonize the man because he fucked and dumped you. When you have children, yeah, you need to be responsible. But why is it you get to think, as a woman, because you ran out of your life, ran out of the kid's life, you're going to sit there and demonize them? And you took no responsibility for bringing those kids in the world. That's not your fault. You didn't open your legs, right? Getting a date with a white woman is an absolute, it is easier for me to book a flight to go to any country in the world and line myself up and meet somebody online to stay with for 2 weeks and go over there and actually have somebody really interested in me than it would be to get a date with an American woman. It'd be easier for somebody to meet the requirements of an Ivy League school than it is to get a date with most Caucasian women, unless you're a cash register, ATM, big money, or one of those thug men that the women seem to be very attracted to today. So Miss Divine, which she's definitely not, her videos are meh. And I'm not comparing my channel to hers. And I've said this for years. My channel is not to be compared to anybody else's. I'm in a class of my own. I was a trendsetter back in the day. My videos are real. My videos are not scripted. My videos are not professional. Like, look at Mark Dice. Mark Dice, great communicator. Black Pigeon Speaks. All these guys are great. They're better than me as far as polish goes. What you have here is rough cut. What you have here with Pacific is a real deal. And Americans don't like real. The only ones that do are those few that are the fans. And Caucasian women will not listen to this because they're used to being plastic and fake. But I did listen to the whole video that she did about, lust is not a compliment. Okay. I think we all know lust is not a compliment. So, duh. It's lust. And it's carnal, base, bottom thing. It's that biology kicking in. But how many women in our society play on that? How many women in social media posting thousands of selfies play on that? One string guitar. She's got that edge to her. She's got that attitude. She's got that same cookie cutter style that all the other American women just like her have. They're going to get on YouTube. They're going to get out there and think that they're all that. And I'm going, dime a billion. Who's she reaching? What's she saying? I'm not sure. As if men are all to blame because he left you and your two kids, but you fucked him. Okay. If a Caucasian woman says it, it must be gospel. If a Caucasian woman says what she says about us men, it must be true. She's a clinical psychologist, right? She's a medical expert. She's a therapist, right? You know what I've said, guys. You know what I've said for years. Women try to psychoanalyze us and form a clinical diagnostic on us, even though they're not qualified. What the stance is that Pacific has taken is flipped the script. I came onto YouTube many years back, and I opened up full bore. Remember my video I did in Hong Kong? Western women are destroying themselves and feminism is destroying Western women. 20,000 views. That was incredible. And they were still going until we had to take the channel down because of trolling and all that crap. Pacific does not think he's better than women. That's not what this is about. This is not a competition. But I am going to say this. My heart is better than most of these women. They're rude. They don't introspect. They just project and blast and blast and blast. That's what feminism teaches them. Never to look internally. Just blame men. Just like I talked about the election stuff. You got a group of people in this country that's been conditioned racism, 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 white supremacy. I am the minority in a sea of black. And believe me when I say I see a lot of racism coming from them towards me and whites. If I was racist, why would I move in the midst of this? That don't make sense. But America's a strange place these days. People think they're enlightened because they went to college. Women wake up in the morning thinking they're just automatically endued with all wisdom and knowledge. They post their little cutesy sayings all over Facebook. But look at what comes out of their mouth. Look at the way they treat people. Dog men, disrespect men. We have no value in these kind of women's eyes. None. We are made to feel bad if we have an attraction for a female. Women scream that they want to be valued for more than just a piece of meat. Okay, ladies, can I give you a heads up? Then you'd better start working on those things instead of slut teasing us and walking around like you got it going on. You're your own worst enemy, not us. Women are wall builders and not bridge builders. You ever notice when you have a discussion with women in our culture, it doesn't matter what you say. You're talking about something, you're not being offensive to them, and they'll make some statement that just puts up a wall instead of showing empathy. Well, I really don't care. That doesn't bother me. Wow, I was sharing my heart with you that something irritated me. And instead of saying, hey, I can understand, well, that doesn't bother me. I really don't care. Well, to you too. Don't expect me to give you any sympathy next time. I went through a 14-year marriage of that. I come home from work. Oh my gosh, today was crazy. Oh, tell me about it. My day was even worse than yours. Why don't you just throw a bucket of hot scalding water in my face? Because you might as well do it. I'm so glad I left that marriage. The most freeing thing I ever did. I wish I'd have never married. And I've said this before about Caucasian women. No mystery, no originality. Let me say this over and over again. No originality. They're copycats of each other. They're homogenized. They're cookie cutter Western women mass syncretism. Walk in lockstep. Oh, do you got a dog? Do you got an SUV? Do you go to Starbucks? Do you have that rest me bitch tone like I do? Did you go out with a man who was abusive to you and used you? And, oh, me too. Oh, let's form a misery committee and bitch for the next 30 years about all the shitty men out there that you chose to date. And then women like you will look at me and say, ha, you're not my type. While you condemn all these men that lusted after you, and I'm not lusting after you. So even though I'm not lusting after you, you don't make any other quality desirable what I'd even want you. Now you're just bitter. You're probably not going to get married. And I'm looking at your age and I'm assuming you're not with anybody or currently with anybody. And now you're using your YouTube platform as a means to fire your gun at all the men out there. The beautiful thing about YouTube is for a while there, it broke the one-sided narrative of media culture and the TV where they were slamming men, belittling them. You see the guy sitting in the chair and a wasp comes by and he's trembling and his little mousy wife comes up, "Oh, Harold," psh, and swats it away. That's such a lie. I can tell many times when I was driving school bus that yes, football players and big high school boys and girls scream and run to one side. I said, "Hey, what is going on back there?" "There's a bee." Well, if it's a bee, sit down and it'll leave you alone. I have to tell them the difference between a bee and a wasp. And I'll stop. I say, "Where is this?" Sometimes I'd have my route book. Sometimes I didn't. "Right there." All right, move out of the way. I go down and I take my hand, I boom. "Oh my gosh, he just hit it with his hand." I said, "I don't have anything else to hit it." And it's a wasp. And when you guys are jumping around, that's going to get irritated and sting you. The best thing to do is just be calm, be still, and let him do his thing and fly back out the window. But y'all got to be drama about it, and then somebody's going to get zapped. I said, "Oh, by the way, boys, if you want to take these girls to the homecoming dance, and now you're all little chickens in here, you might want to think about that." The girls would laugh. "Yeah, huh? You guys were all screaming." But the girls were too. And me, the small guy with the glasses that everybody thinks is a nerd, which I'm not. I deal with pests. I take them out. Get a wasp nest, I go under there in the middle of the day, knock it off, kick it across the yard, and run so I don't get stung. Or if I want to be cautious, I wait until dusk, get the ladder up there and spray it with the wasp spray and then drop the whole thing on the ground and kick it around like a football and say, "Done." Then women wonder why we no longer value them. Sarcastic, pooching out, gaining weight, not looking sexy, cynical, bitchy, no other strings on their one string guitar. Men are condemned, beast, blamed, while women are shining stars of perfect modeling of desirable attributes. Not. That's the impression you get listening to these people. Are all women like this? No. Ladies, it goes both ways. You get what you project. You keep building all your little walls, then you wonder why people aren't asking for your date. And when men do ask you for a date, you snub them. You down them, you dog them. "Oh, he's too old, so he's a pervert." It don't matter if he's 70, he's still got a sex drive. So no, he's not a pervert. A pervert is somebody who's grabbing your butt when you're not in a relationship with them or doing things you shouldn't be doing with little people. Okay. And as I say, it goes both ways, toots. You get what you pay for, project. You want to be a slut tease? We will use you, then we toss you. What did you expect? You want to be a spinster for Jesus? Let's talk about that one. Christian women. "Oh, I want a godly man, doesn't masturbate, doesn't lust, doesn't do this." Well, babe, you better just stay single for the rest of your life. And you get the impression when a woman opens her mouth, she must be fully devoted to God. Does she go the speed limit? Does she use her turn signal? Does she do everything right? You need to ask those questions because she may not have a struggle with the things some men have a struggle with, but I promise you she's got a struggle with something that you men don't have. But go and tell her fault. Watch the flack you'll get. Western women are wholly undesirable. My opinion, they make good lesbian porn. That's it. I used to value women until I over and over, and I will use the term, was cockblocked. And I don't mean that just sexually. I mean that they just reject you, laughed, I look at some of these women, even this one on her little video form. I promise you that as a man, I look better naked and in better shape than she is at my age and she is at hers with all of her clothes off. Now, I realize not everybody will be attracted to me, but that don't matter. The sad thing about men, you will have piggy doggy men think, oh, she's the bomb. Different strokes for different folks, being fair. But the Asian women that I dated overseas were prettier than her. Natural beauties, all. You want to be a spinster for Jesus and get on your holy trip and condemn every man not as holy as you think you are? What did Jesus say about that? Take heed lest you fall, then die alone. You looking for perfection, then die alone. Why marry any Western woman today? You're trapped. They're vengeful. They clean out males in the justice system, which will make men's assets an enema. Everything you men worked for, you might as well have drank prune juice because it's going to go all out back to her if she gets mad and leaves you or you leave her. Women use the hell out of men more than men do them. Oh, all these men leave. You know, it's ironic. 75%, I believe it's 75% of the black children in America are raised by single black moms. The men, use women as a cum dump, not all, but a lot of them, and walk off. I was married for 14 years and I had an ex-wife. We got divorced. I left her. She filed for divorce. And I didn't walk out of my son's life. But she tried to go back to all her friends and say, he abandoned us. I abandoned you. We had inherited $250,000. I remodeled the house. It was your mother's. You got the house. You got $200,000. I got $50,000. I abandoned you, and I tried to keep in touch with my son. You all know the story. There's no point in going on with this. And what made me get on YouTube and start speaking out is because women's one-sided narrative about how bad men are is old hat. You don't hear those same women talking about the crap that they do. And this is why Pacific was launched. In 2011. I said, I'm tired of not speaking out about this. We've had a one-sided, lopsided narrative. African-American women are nicer to me and more likely to dance with me at the nightclub than white women are. The only white women that will dance with me are white women that are married and they've had liquor and they'll come over and I'm like, and I used to dance with them, but I'm like, you know what? Is that your husband? Yeah, but he don't care. I said, no. YouTube is exactly that. YouTube. I don't get on here because I think I'm so cool. I don't think the way a female thinks. I have a feminine side to me because I grew up with 3 sisters and a domineering mother. But I'm a man. Push me and I will push back. Corner me, I'm going to come out like a mountain lion and I don't start trouble, but I will stand my ground when I need to. And one of the things that bothers me is you got channel after channel after channel of legends in their own mind. They got on social media. They think that they're the best singer, that they're the best looking, they're the best this, and whatever content they have, they're thus saith the Lord. I sampled a couple of this woman's videos. There's really no substance to any of this. Though she spoke some truth about women trying to be sexy to gain that sexy appeal. She spoke some truth on there. But she's wrong. She said men will go after anything. And that's not true. I don't feel a sexual desire for her, so that's a lie. I don't feel a sexual desire for all the women out there. That's a lie. How about women? Are they moral purists? Women are having just as many affairs and cheating as men are today, and in some cases more, all around the world. India, women are slapping their husbands and they're having flings with other India women. I read stuff in the Hong Kong Standard when I was in China, and I was like, wow, no matter where you go, the same old happens everywhere, just different color, different race, different geography, but the same stuff. But there are still women overseas that run circles around what we got in this culture. You're not going to meet too many women that cook for you, massage your back, and love you. And to that, American women reply, oh, yeah, you want a subservient woman. Well, let me tell you something. I don't want a rest me bitch girlfriend either. So you condemn us for wanting a subservient woman. The Bible says the man is the head of his household. Feminists don't accept that. But I'm not going to get involved with a feminist. I've dated them in the past. Not going to do it again. There's a couple that I'm friends with, and I had to have a conversation with her the other night. Black couple, they got a black woman who's beautiful. And they kept pushing me, both of them at different times, to dance. I said, no, I'm not going to ask her to dance. Why not? I said, body language, man. She's not interested in me. I went to ask her a simple question. How long have you known our friend? She was irritated, and it gave me some. I said, I'm not going to go up and say, hey, you want to dance? And both of them kind of kept pushing. They pushed on me and another guy that was there. And he and I took a walk one night before the DJ came, and I said, man, I want to talk to you. Are they doing that to you? Yeah, man, I'm tired of that. I said, we're adults. So I had to talk with her. She called me last night, and I just, listen, your fiance is being an egotistical jerk. Some of the comments he's made, and I said, and you pushed me to dance with so-and-so. He pushed me. I said, look, I know there's discussion once I'm out of that room. You hung out with her the other day. She's not. No, she isn't. I said, so why do you push me to dance with her? Silence. Let me tell you something. The woman's black. She was in a relationship in Harlem. Moved down here years ago. She'd been with a black man who threw her down the stairs, popped her, hit her, violence. It got so bad that the next time she stood up and says, you're not going to hit me no more. And he went to swing at her, and he himself tripped, fell down the stairs, screwed up his back for life. After he went out to the hospital and she turned him into the cause, he said, I'm going to sue you. She goes, I didn't knock you down the stairs. You did that to yourself. So my friend said, oh, she's nervous about dating men. She'd sit there on a bar stool next to me, chewing her gum like a cow with its cud. I get up and dance. And I just thought, you know what? She's not approachable. I'd say, hey. My friend came to me and said, well, if you would cut your hair, this is when it was all long. Now I'm doing the MacGyver thing, growing the mullet thing a little bit, grow real long in the back and keep it short hair. It looks better, in my opinion. But the woman, she's a few years older than me. She said, why can't he put his hair in a man bun or at least cut it and wear different clothes? So I tried an experiment. I put on my Asian silk or satin red and black shirt with the dragons, the button up with the collar, my nice black jeans and my belt, and my black shirt on underneath. And both my friends said, "Whoa, you," I said, "Yeah." I said, "You don't think I can dress out?" I said, "I don't do it in here because I'm going to make to you tonight a point. It doesn't matter what I wear, what I do. You guys said I'm not going to get a girlfriend. I used to have my hair short. I didn't wear a shirt off my shoulders. I'm going to prove to you that nothing I do is going to change the dynamic of what's going on with today's women." And she said, "Well, she said she'd date you if you," and I said, "No, she wouldn't." So I got to measure up to her before I got to grovel and bow. And I've told men, stop chasing women, stop bowing to them. You go on about your business. You do. So if they're really interested in you, they'll come after you. Women know what they want and they will come after it. And if they ain't coming after you, don't go barking after them, wasting time. We're not in the 50s anymore where the woman waits by the telephone for the guy to call. Those days are over. And I don't care if all of the women in America judged me and laughed at me, I'd still believe the same. Women are extremely judgmental, extremely harsh, extremely unaccepting, and they lump all men into the same boat, most of them. And that right there shows how dysfunctional they are. They chose to get involved with shitty males. They chose to do the superficial, I'm sexy thing and attracted those kinds of males. But for some reason, it's his fault that he's not involved with the kids. Not yours. Has nothing to do with you whatsoever, right? Bullshit. You were part of that as well. It sucks that you got left holding the bag. Got to raise them. But maybe you should have thought about that. And that's why I get on this abortion. Most abortion is taking place because of stuff like that. Most decent looking women have a one string guitar in this culture. I see it in the nightclubs. I see it everywhere. Most good looking women in our culture have an attitude. They're entitled. They look down their nose at everybody because they assume that they're just so good looking. They're childish. They're mature. There are very few exceptions to that rule. Miss Divine is not divine. She's a legend in her own mind. Wants to put men on blast. You know I'm going to talk about that. I have had several years where I come into contact with very few Caucasian women. Now, I'm not wild about everything in the African American community, trust and believe. That's been an eye opener too. But I'd better be around this community than live in a neighborhood with a bunch of stuck up white people. Any day. Pacific, would you marry a black woman? I'm not even looking at marriage anymore. I would date somebody if I felt like we had solid things in play that make a relationship worth pursuing with her. I don't like when women have a bad experience, which is their own fault as well, and then blame the guy, belittle and condemn and put men on blast. Girls. See if I can find it. See if I can find it. Oh, it's raining. We're getting some of the affects of the hurricane that's in Florida below us. It tends to do that up here. Her videos include stuff like how to stop being a broke dancer or sugar baby. Why are we even talking about sugar babies?
I made a video on a life-changing topic that could have really helped people that got 37 views. I made a video of my cat taking a dump and it got 2,000 views. I made a video on a life-changing topic that could have really helped.
Deep woman here made a video of her cat taking a dump and it got 2,000 views. Remember what I said about the nuances of social media? Trash gets the views. Actual content, no. Part 2, take it easy on Dusties. Don't be so hard on Dusties. I have no idea what that's all about. Let's see if we can find this. She's not attractive to me. She is to herself. See if we can.
A man wanting to have sex with you is not really a compliment. It's not. It took me a long time to realize this. I was well into my 30s when I realized this.
So basically, she was a slut whore all the way up until her 30s or whenever she stopped doing what she was doing. Now she's going to impart to you her wisdom. Now, let me be fair. We can all change. We can all grow up. So I don't want to be too hard on her. But if you go on.
I place a lot of value all my life on who thought I was hot, who wanted to have sex with me, who found me attractive, if they found me more attractive than other women. And I think this time in the world that we're really focused on that, and girls are being born into this culture where that's what they think the most valuable part of themselves is when it comes to men and relationships. Like how pretty you can be, how badly he wants to do it with you as opposed to do it with somebody else, who he wants to do it with first. It's like that's giving men so much power.
Let me stop right there. Giving men so much power. I think most of the people on my channel can agree women have the power today, not us. They got it in the courts. They got it in alimony, child support. Women can come pour into a marriage and clean out the man's house and his bank account, everything the man worked for. More than the man can clean out the woman. Now, they're gold digger men. But you listen to women today and you hear it over and over and over, blasting us, blasting us. She flips this script. She admitted she's a slut tease. I'm using those words. Now she's going to blast us.
The power to just be your puppet master, make you like a little Pinocchio on a string, you know? And the truth is, and once you realize this, I think it'll help you a lot. Because this is a type of brainwashing we all have. Living in this part of the world, in the United States, this is a type of really sick brainwashing that we have from the time we're little girls. Okay? But it can be undone. And once you realize that.
So now she's a self-proclaimed, I got the answers, I'm a therapist. This is entertaining. Let's go on.
Men want to do it with everybody. With everybody.
That's a lie. She's saying men want to do it with everybody. You all feel that? Yeah, you all want to do it with every woman you see out there? If she's 350 pounds, I don't want to do it. If she's twiggy skinny like Twiggy, I don't want to do it. She's got 4 inches armpit hair and BO and stink and bad breath and loves her dog more than people, I don't want to do it. If she has no personality, I don't want to do it. What a lie. But let's have fun with her.
They biologically want to do it with just about everybody.
Oh, now she qualifies it. Now it's just about everybody. Let's go on.
Matter if you get a BBL and your butt is 3 inches bigger than her butt, or
there's white women in acronyms. BBL. Does anybody know what that means? I don't. Just like overweight woman like to use the word ginormous. Buzz speak, white speak, Caucasian women speak. They think they're so educated. Who knows what BBL is? I don't. She does. Oh, that puts her in the driver's seat. I know something you don't.
Your boobs are 3 sizes larger than her boobs. What you need to understand.
What you need to understand is some of us men like smaller breasted women, so you're full of crap. This is you're saying this. Some of us like Filipino women where they have flat chest or no chest because they're still more beautiful than this chick is.
Is that he likes those size boobs and he likes those size boobs. He likes a butt with a BBL and he also likes the other kind of butt that doesn't have a BBL. He does. In the moment when he sees the one that is augmented, he might notice it first. If he's looking at a lineup of women, he might notice that one first. As soon as he has that one, the amount of interest he has in it, if it was a level 10 interest, it goes down to like a 5 now because he's already experienced.
What happens, lady, is when some of us men get to eat dinner at the Y, because you let us, we wake up the next morning and go, what the hell did I do? Now, I had a sex drive. I needed release. But you have no personality. I was not in love with you. I was just horny. And now I have recoil, the Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. And after the orgasm, it's like coming off of being drunk. And I told you, man, we have to be careful about that lust thing because it blinds the hell out of us. Years ago, I would have thought she's pretty. She's got the long black hair. I'm partial to long black hair. Her face, May. Now, most guys would think she's hot. I like exotic faces. She's not exotic. She's plain Jane as they come. Lots of rouge. Not my thing. She looks a little bit like aspects of my ex-wife. So, boom, out. No.
Now, he's looking at the one he didn't notice before. He's like, wow, you know what? I like that kind of natural look. Haven't had that yet.
Women act like they're not like us. Yet they're trying to be men today. But let's entertain this foolishness. Men have experienced women where a man was fully vested in the woman, myself included. I'm speaking from experience. We were in love with a woman. And guess what? They left us. Because they experienced me and, well, done. So she's full of beans. She's coming across so serious and as if what she's saying is gospel. But let's continue on.
Want to try that? Then he'll go and he'll try that, and then his level of interest will go from a 10 down to a 5, and then he'll be on to the next thing.
Why did that happen to you? Because they realized you had no other strings on your guitar. You had that one dang, dang, bang. I mean, this is what I'm getting.
Thinking about the next thing he hasn't tried.
Just listening to her is enough to make me sick.
Men like basically everything.
Men like everything. Really? Everything. Gee, should I tell my story? Nah, it's too personal, so I'm not going to do that here. But the neurosis that men are experiencing of being cockblocked by almost all American white women, even the ugly ones that think they're hot stuff. I'm not interested in every woman out there. So what you hear here, she wants a man who's single, devoted, focused to the one. I like a woman that's single, devoted, focused to the one. But do you find that out there? Women are fucking around, having affairs, jumping from bed to bed. Blondes do. College girls do. This one probably did.
Like a chicken with your head cut off or a hamster on a wheel, trying to keep up with the next plastic surgery, with the next thing that's going to make you hot.
Wait a minute. I've never dated any of the women that do plastic surgery. So all men? What, did she do all this? Did she do all this? Now we're getting somewhere.
Next thing that's going to make people want to sleep with you. And thinking to yourself, if I can just always be the woman on top who they want to sleep with first and sleep with more, then some.
Proving how shallow women are. They think that if they're pretty, that's what matters. Is that men's fault or is that her and women's fault? Folks, when you invest money in the market, stocks, dividends, whatever, I don't do that, but I'm just saying, you're going to use some discipline and get somebody to give you financial advice. This woman's admitting that they're dumb, that they're superficial, that we just focused on our pretty. Whose fault is that? You get what you pay for. You put yourself out as a slut tease. Guess what you're going to get? Slobbering, horny men. Let's go on.
How I'm going to be safe and protected and loved and wanted. No.
Why does anybody want to love and protect and be with this woman on anything beyond a sexual level? If that's what she was throwing herself out there for. So she shoots herself in the ass. She was doing those things that she's now condemning. She got the men because she was doing those things. Now she's condemning the men. But she enjoyed it at the time. But did she really believe that by being sexy and pretty enough, she'd net the one? Look, we men know this. Women that are doing that have nothing else to offer. Now she's going to try to be scholastic and cerebral when she should have been that, first of all. Because this is the kind of woman I may have met somewhere. We were just talking about stuff. I'm not a traction here. But I'm like, this woman's got a brain. I'd like to engage with her on that level. But did she put herself out there like that? Of course not.
Take it from me, okay?
Take it from me. She's the expert.
25 plastic surgeries and other cosmetic procedures. I went through this type of thinking for years.
25. Is that the fault of men or is that the fault of her? Did she listen to men? How many men do you know have said, just like me, I prefer natural beauty to fake? Now, you hear what she's saying here. This is all men's fault. not hers. What kind of men was she looking for? The ones that wanted plastique or the ones that wanted real? Do you think that woman would have dated Pacific? Of course not. I'm not going to go for that kind of woman myself. I can tell the women have breast implants. They're perfectly round and stand out here. Yeah, those are fake. I don't care if a woman has a tiny bit of sag and nice nipples and stuff because I like a natural woman. And she's going to lambaste and beat up men here for having an attraction. Attraction is first step. That's what gets me interested and motivated to. The next thing I need to find out is where are they spiritually, where are they emotionally, can we connect? The older I get, I'm in a position now where I'm working up to 12 hours a day, one-on-one with a black female. And we're going to talk about that another day. You know what I've learned? Men and women are contrary to each other. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I have to discipline myself. This woman has emotionally driven logic. She has her moodiness. She has her outburstedness. She has the I'm going to attempt to wear the pants. I would say a couple of times, hey, I don't do well with that. That's some scar stuff for me. We gotta work together here and let's not get into this other stuff. Now she's a nice person. She has a heart, she has her qualities. But I've learned something. Marriage and relationships are difficult no matter what. But you got a woman out here who's playing the plastic game. She thinks she's got to do all this stuff. Well, when you're not being real, when you're being plastic, like she admitted 25 different times, men are going to leave her. But that's all our fault, not hers. Pay attention to what she's saying here now. Don't pay attention to what she's saying. Pay attention to what she's saying.
And I thought the way that I looked, and if I made my body perfect, and if I got rid of this, and I tucked this, and I nipped that, and I fixed this, and I fixed that, and I made this bigger and this smaller, I thought that somehow somebody was going to see me and love me and say, wow.
Why did you think that somebody's going to love you because you got tucks? Your definition of love is so fucking shallow, it's not even funny. You know what turns me on about a woman? Her looks, yes. But a woman is into me and my heart and what I'm into and respects me. I'm done looking for the soulmate. I'm done looking for the perfect one. They don't exist because I'm not perfect. I wouldn't go on a date with her. She wouldn't date me because I don't measure up to her little whatever the hell trip she's on. And I don't need to. If she walked into the nightclub and gave me the dirty look inside, I'd be going, keep it moving, biatch. But if this woman came around and had a down-to-earthness about her, we had an intellectual, man, I like to dance. You want to dance? Yeah. Wow, a woman asked me to dance. She didn't think I was trying to get down her pants. We had a good talk. We went for a walk. Those are attractive things. Yes, beauty's got to be there. If you're two-ton Hesse, I'm sorry. She can. But she did these things. That's not men's fault. Hollywood, the industry, dominated by men and women, they put that crap out there. And silly, immature women that watch TV and are addicted to media culture think they got to be that way. But if they step out of that, they'd realize, no, you don't got to be that way. They're obviously not listening to many American men. I like a woman with natural breasts. I like a woman with her natural colored hair. I like a woman who grows her hair long. She's not listening to real men. She's chasing superficial men and being superficial herself and then wondering why they don't love her. Yeah.
Her physical beauty is so beyond compare that I'm not going to go with any other women. That's my woman right there. She's right there. And guess what?
Chicken's butt. One thing that she needs to know, lust, according to Jesus, is adultery. When you lust after a woman in your heart, you've committed adultery. Now, people think that only men can do that. Women lust too, and they do it a lot. Why are so many women becoming lesbian? Because of lust, because of a variety of things, but lust is there. Putting down men because they're attracted to beauty is the wrong way to handle this issue. You were superficial. You thought this was the way it was supposed to be. That's not men's fault. That is not one man's fault. You availed yourself to men that were shallow, just like you, and then you're shocked that they don't love you. It's like building your house on the beach down in Florida with a second hurricane coming. Why would you do that? But we're going to listen to this expert here.
I had a lot of people who temporarily thought that about me in that moment. Where are they now? Where are the fathers of my children? Where are
the fathers of my children? Oh, I thought you said father. Fathers? Whose fault is this? She lays it at the feet of us. Talk about projecting. You're a moron. You are not smart as a woman. What did you expect?
the boyfriends I had years ago?
Qualified years ago.
Women uglier than me now. Yes, girls, your looks are important, absolutely. But don't let this type of thinking control your life and make you risk your life.
Wait a minute. The boyfriends she had years ago are dating women uglier than her. Maybe because they had substance, toots, which you didn't have. Was this video the result of you being cock-blocked, used, thrown away, discarded, and now you're mad and butthurt? Could be. Woman, you want to talk about pain? Your kind of women did the shit they did to me. I don't feel sorry for you. And I don't believe you're justified in blaming men for it. You get what you deserve.
Having unnecessary surgeries, okay? If you want to do it for you, okay, this is the difference, okay? When you hear them say, if you're going to do surgery, do it for you, not for somebody else, this is what they're talking about. Don't have a cosmetic surgery because deep in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if I could just fix my tummy, then I would be almost.
She also thinks she's good looking. The fact she got all that shit done means that she wasn't good looking and was trying to change the narrative for herself. Miss Divine. I dated women in the Philippines that had long, silky black hair, brown skin bodies, smaller breasts than you have, smaller petite than you. They were fine looking. They were all natural. They were better looking than you. And they had more depth than you did. This is men's fault, though.
Perfect. Then I could be like an Instagram model, and then he'll finally see me. Then he'll finally.
Do you hear the depth of this? An Instagram model. She was owned by the temple of personal deity on social media. herself.
Want me. Whether it's a specific person or a fantasy man you've made up in your mind that will one day come and love you and rescue you and take you off the market and marry you and love you. And
listen to her fairy tale, take you off the market, rescue you. Oh, yes, the man always has to do it. Wait a minute, this is feminism, right? I thought you wanted equality. How's that feminism working out for you? Why does she got divine on her list? Is she claiming to be a Christian? Look at her other videos. I don't see Christ in sugar babies. What's all this? This woman is not very deep. She took a video of her cat taking a dump and posted it. I would not take a video of an animal taking a shit and post it. Pacific is not perfect. Pacific doesn't think he's more perfect than her. But this woman here, just her admissions, it's a mess.
Cheat on you and always be there for you. It's hard to know the difference between doing it for yourself or doing it for somebody else. If you've been born into this culture that has programmed you from the time you were a little girl, you won't even really be.
Wait a minute. Let's talk about what's been programmed into little girls. I saw it on the school bus, stuck up, entitled, spoiled bratness. Does she address any of that? Is this a case of a woman who thought she was all that on a stick and got burned so many times that she finally came to a wake up call? Does she care about what us men have gone through with women like her rejecting us because we weren't good enough? Does she and her class of white females who categorically laugh, mock us, brand us, label us, ostracize, marginalize, and trivialize us and patronize us, does she give a shit about that? It's all about her plastic beauty. She made a channel off of this.
Able to tell that you're doing it for somebody else because this is the way you've always thought. If you've always had this kind of thinking your entire life since you were a child, you have nothing else to compare it to. So how do you really know you're doing it for somebody else? You'll be doing it for somebody else.
Maybe if you'd stop thinking about how sexy you are, need to be, and start thinking about all the other things that go on in the universe and become a deeper person, you might be able to avoid the trap. Shoulder pads.
And it might be somebody else you've never even met yet. You might be doing it for the fantasy of, I'm going to make myself so beautiful that one day.
These women all think they're beautiful. Look at all the TikTok videos and no bra challenge. Look at all this stuff out there. I mean, the internet is flooded with soft porn. You can go to any country in the world, Vietnam, Thailand. Thailand shows the girls with the drinks up. They got the implants or the 2 inches of tits pushed up so far you think they're 4 inches. Folks, when women put themselves out there as a slut tease, they're going to get that and that alone. I see pictures all the time on the internet. I've lusted after women. Still do. Oh my God, she's good looking. Oh my gosh. And then they wonder why we don't pursue them and go after them because it's like, but there's nothing else there. Men have a need for sexual release. Women are condemning that. Don't listen to them. If they want a guy to think about them beyond the lust, then they, like a stock investor, has to have some thought to it. She needs to invest in something more than implants and plastic surgery. If she was so good looking, why did she feel the need to get plastic surgery? So she's a legend in her own mind. She's plastic looks, and you can tell by looking at her. And it didn't work out for her because the natural beauties that I dated in Hong Kong and even some natural beauties, white women that I dated here, are better looking than her. This is rich, man.
My dream man, Prince Charming, is going to come and find me. And when he sees me looking like this, he's going to know that I'm his. Okay?
Tell me, okay, do you know how much of Hollywood has infected her mind? Prince Charming. We're still believing in horsies and fairy tales. White women waiting around for Mr. Perfect to come. Laughable. As if Prince Charming is supposed to roll into her world and give her what she wants. Do you see the narcissism? Do you see the one-sidedness? And basically what she's doing, what she doesn't see, she's embarrassing the hell out of herself to those of us that think deeper than she does. It's like, you're admitting you were dumb. I got you.
See, it's confusing because if you don't even have a boyfriend in your life right now,
Confusing.
or a guy you're interested in your life right now, and you're going to get surgery, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to make sure I'm doing this for myself and not for somebody else, you'll be like, well, there's nobody in my life who I'm even thinking about.
Why are we getting surgeries, period, whether it's for yourself or not? Why are women so vain? Why do all these women dye their hair blonde or chop it off? Why do white women never listen to us? They compare themselves against other girls. They look at Mademoiselle. Look, this woman doesn't get it. Go to the checkout aisle. Cosmopolitan, Us, People Daily, all the who's who of white women. That's been shoved in our face over and over and over and over and over. She's right about that. But I didn't need to go get plastic surgery to determine these women are not all that. Some of the most beautiful women, Brooke Shields, she was pretty flat chested. She was hot. But then you have Cindy Crawford and Pamela Sue Anderson with the big tits. I bet you they're not beautiful now. Bo Derek, I bet you they're all the way down in the basement.
Right now. No, but you could be thinking of a fantasy man in your mind.
A fantasy
I
man.
hope this makes sense to you.
Hold it. A fantasy man. It's not okay for us to have a fantasy woman, but it's okay for them to have a fantasy man. When are women going to wake up and realize we men don't get the plastic surgery, and those that do, they're in a whole different class? But women will make fun of us because I wear glasses. You know how many times I've been stigmatized? I'm a geek, I'm a nerd by white women. That's nice. That's mature, right? Glasses is because I have a handicap of poor vision. Why would any of us want to get involved with a woman who has a hang up over glasses? Never mind that I make love better than she would. Never mind that I'd be nicer to people than she would. This woman is all about her. Looking for Prince Charming, looking for the guy to swoop her off her feet. Oh, we're back to the man doing it all. I thought this was equality. I thought this was feminism. They want their cake and eat it too.
We can't keep living our lives and making health choices and
Health
surgery
choices,
I mean, you could die
so
from
to speak.
surgery. And I'm not saying don't get surgery, okay? I've had so many of them.
See that? I've had so many of them. The Gong Show. Yeah.
Even get more one day. But now that I look back at the surgeries I started doing like 20 22 years ago was my first surgery. I look back now and I see the difference. If I were to have surgery today, in my mind, it's different than when I did it 22 years ago. I look back on that 18-year-old girl that got her first plastic surgery, and I was doing it for outside validation. I wanted people to see me in a different way. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to outdo other girls. I wanted to be the...
That's your problem. That's your vanity. That's your obsession with yourself. That is not a man's fault. You put that shit in your head. And I don't care if this woman is offended at what I say and doesn't like me and does a video just ripping me to shreds. I don't care. That is to be expected. Women cannot take criticism. She thinks she's doing something cutting edge by warning all these women. You are shallow as hell, lady. Now you want to have an epiphany. Maybe I ought to start listening to Pacific Ocean Asia and get some real thinking, because there's a lot of lack here.
That when I walked in a room, everybody noticed me first.
Yep. All about, I'm a narcissist. Notice me. Britney Spears. Notice me. Yep.
And it's okay to want all those things.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
But just know what you're doing when you're doing it. These things are life-threatening.
See, she's being the counselor. It's okay to get surgery. No, it isn't. Why are you doing modification to your body?
You could also become disfigured from this, okay? I've had a lot of surgeries with a lot of different doctors all over the world. I've had some good surgeries and some bad surgeries.
How much money is this chick
parts
making?
Of my body
doing
that got
what?
messed up from surgery. And not only can you die, you can live and you can have things that don't look good, that are not correctable. And there's just, every time you do a surgery, you're telling your subconscious mind that what other people think about me really matters. What men think about me really matters. You're telling yourself,
what women think about us matters in their minds. They think that whatever they say about us, gospel. If a woman said it, must be true. They have branded the hell out of us. They've cockblocked the hell out of us. Forget all the surgery and shit. Did that caliber of woman ever choose a guy like me? I'll bet you not. And I'll bet you she'd have a million reasons why. Oh, well, you're not my type. Oh, but you went after all these that you thought were your type, and they all rejected your ass. Good for them. You were shallow. You're homogenized. You're cookie cutter. You're manufactured out of a plastic factory. And now you want to whine that men are bad. And fail.
I need to make my sexual body parts look better, because this is how you get men to love you.
Bull.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to close with this because I have to get on a Zoom call.
You hear that? I'm so important I have to get on a Zoom call. Yep, got to let everybody know that. White women are predictable as hell. All about me. Important. Got to go. Got a Zoom call. But you got to know this. Coming up next, what you need to know. Her voice is irritating to me. I'm going to tell you something. I'm scarred. I am dysfunctional. Let me say that right now. She'll eat that up if she sees this. He admitted he's dysfunctional. Listen to him. Listen to him. Listen to him. I don't care. Pacific Ocean tsunami doesn't follow the narrative. of the normal male. And I'm content with that. We had 3,500 subscribers on the last hurrah. I think she's at 689, unless I missed something. This is not good video material. I'm attacking it. I'm attacking it because she is beating up on men. Men go after anything. Lie. So do women. Have you seen what women are doing? They're dating prisoners waiting to get out of jail for murder. I was down at the club and there's a guy that looks 20 years older than me, turned 40 the other day, involved with a married white woman with long black hair. She had on a top with no bra, looks sexy as all get out. She's got a husband who's dying from some disability. So she's out fooking around with this guy. He's got all his beard. He's skinny, tattoos. He's ghastly to look at, smoking and drinking. He's an alcoholic. I'm better looking than he is. Now, I don't want to be playing around with that because she's all involved. But these women choose shitty men. This woman here is a one-sided narrative who is unaware of the entire rest of the globe around her because she was only focused on one thing. I'm too sexy for my tits, too sexy for everything. I got to get plastic surgery. Are you serious? Yeah. She's bashing us. She's projecting on us. You know Pacific's going to take this on. I don't care what she thinks about my channel. There are people who listen to me now on Facebook. I open up a Rumble account. They listen to me here because my content has substance. My stuff gives people hope. It gives people an awareness that, man, I'm not the only one going through this. This stuff here, she's admitting that she's so vain, thinking everything is about her. She's so vain.
A man lusting you and wanting to have sex with you and fantasizing about your body parts and, you know, looking at your pictures on social media and touching himself, giving himself pleasure by looking at your pictures is not a compliment. He does that with...
So whose fault is that? Do you notice she's denigrating us? Touching himself. Oh, is she one of those who believes masturbation is wrong? Guess where she's headed? She may have a boyfriend now. I don't know. I don't know her story. Anybody who gets involved with her ought to run because it's just not going to be a lifelong lasting thing. These kind of women don't have what it takes for decent men to want to stay involved with that. And you hear what she's doing? Broad brush stroke sweeping all men under the rug.
Everybody's pictures. He does that with everybody. He wants to do that with everybody.
Everybody.
Okay?
Okay, you're fucking wrong, lady. Who died and left you as the summa cum laude of counselor? That you're the therapist, that I don't want to do it with everybody. I don't want to do it with you. If you came to my front door and took off your shirt, I said, no thanks. Because all of that's fake. Your voice would get on my nerves. And as I get older, I'm being honest. I have my quirks. I'm not going to lie about it. There's things that bother me. Some of those may be dysfunction on my part. But I've been down a road with women, and women have scarred the hell out of me. This is not a woman who's aware of that. That does not enter her universe. She's trying to be sexy. And when it exploded in her face, what is she doing? Menstruating on the internet. Boom. Blaming men.
It's not a compliment. You know what a compliment is? When a man wants to take care of you, when he wants to spend his money on you, when he
when a man wants to take care of you and spend money on you, boom, we're still vain, thinking everything's about you. Why don't you spend money on me, Toots? Why don't you come and help me remodel my house? Why don't you get your sleeves rolled up? This is a high maintenance waste of time.
Wants to take care of you for the rest of your life, when he wants to put you on his health insurance to make sure that you're healthy, when he wants to put you on his
and you have the audacity to think that we owe you this? Who the fuck are you?
Life insurance, because he wants to make sure that you have food in your belly and a roof.
It's all about you. All my resources need to go to you. Why don't you go get a job and go get that for yourself, Toots? You spent how much money on plastic surgery? Who the fuck do you think you are?
Over your head if he were to pass away. That's when a man loves you. That's impressive. That is something to brag.
Is that the definition of love in 1 Corinthians 13? Let's educate this woman, because she's bound to listen to this when she sees my comment. She'll be curious. She ain't gonna like what I say. It's gonna bother her. She's gonna have all kinds of clinical diagnosis of me. We expect that, guys. I'm not even gonna watch it. Waste of time. She doesn't know what love is. She doesn't know what impressive is. The Titanic was impressive. It sank, which is too bad, but God is impressive, but this woman is not impressive. Love is patient, love is kind, and is not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant, does not act unbecomingly. It does not seek its own. Listen to these women. Men need to do everything for me. Love does not seek its own. If you're a believer in God, and I don't know where she's at with that, she's got divinity after her name. That's more self-imported, ignorant arrogance. You're supposed to let God provide. Now you're pissed that all these men fucked you and cum dumped on you, because that's what you marketed yourself as. You got what you paid for. And now you're going to vilify and demonize us and tell me and all us men that a real man, buys you all these goodies and goodie bags. I'm not being very Christian with my language. I've admitted before, I don't walk this the way I should. But I do know what this says. So we're going to bring it on. Does not take into account a wrong suffered. She's going on about all the wrongs of men lusting, but she brought it on herself, enabled it, facilitated it. If this is a Christian woman, this is a dangerous Christian woman. Sally self-righteous, project, blast her little spiritual machine guns at everybody out there. Lust, not a compliment. But you listen and you read between the lines, because she makes it easy for us. She's a mess. That baby is not the definition of love. That's not the definition of impressive. If a woman and I fall in love, and I know she is for me and I'm for her, I'm going to do the best I can take care of her. But in this economy and with my income, she may have to work a job too. She spent a lot of money for foolishness. She don't need a man to pay a damn thing for her. She can take care of that herself.
About.
Okay?
How big your booty is or how perky your boobies are. And men commenting on that and how many likes you have because your butt looks so good in this photo. Yeah, we all kind of like that stuff because we're all kind of brainwashed. But
no, you're not brainwashed. You're narcissists. Women love attention. They're attention whores more than the men. You get what I'm saying about social media? And I've been attacked. I've been attacked again and again and again. Okay? But nothing I'm saying in this video is untrue tonight. This here, this is what you would define as a dysfunctional woman. She's got an odd way of looking at the world. Men are supposed to do everything for her. And they didn't. She wanted to be sexy. She wanted to get the likes. She got all the surgeries. And when she didn't get all the money spent on her, when she didn't get all the stuff that she wanted out of it, she's pissed, hurt, shocked. The Bible talks about building on the sand. She built on the sand. That's her fault. The man didn't build her castle on the sand. She built it there. And the wave washed up and washed it out to sea. She's left with nothing. Men have used her as a come dump, moved on. They're with women uglier than her now. She's judging them as uglier. They probably might be prettier than she is because none of her beauty is real. It's all been manufactured. But a wrong sense of self-awareness, thinks more highly of herself than she ought to. That's one. It says that in the Bible. Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to. The Bible also says to be wise. She wasn't wise. Because if she knows the Bible, it says charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who loves the Lord is to be praised. Nowhere does the Bible tell us men that we need to provide her with money and things and life insurance and health insurance and all that. The Bible says a man provides not for his own family. And what that's talking about is a man who will not go out and get a job. That does not mean that we have to provide what that woman wants. And trust me, women's wants and needs don't line up. Women have more greeds than needs. But in this age of feminism, the dichotomy that amazes me is that women think that we ought to do everything for them, but yet don't tell them what to do, don't tell them what to change. But we're supposed to go back to the old-fashioned 1950s values. No. We live in a different age. And if you expect me to go to college to make $100,000 a year to take care of your sorry dysfunctional ass, no. I'm 57 years old. I'm not going to go to college. You're not going to come after me. I'm not going to go after you. You're not my type. The sad thing is this woman needs to hear this video. And she needs to take a good look inside of herself and knock off this psychoanalyzing of us. This is the kind of stuff that men are tired of. It's not our fault you dated scumbuckets. But you talk about the men lusting. You made them lust. You said that society makes you this way. No, you chose to make yourself that way. That's like saying society made somebody an alcoholic, a pedophile, or a thief. Or the latest one is I'm born gay. No, you weren't. It's a lifestyle choice. This woman is not somebody I'm going to listen to on weighty matters. She doesn't have credibility.
In reality, that's not a compliment. How many men you have that want to marry you and pay for you and provide for you and make sure that you have, long-term care in your life.
So now you want to talk about what men should do. What about what women should do? Stop being superficial. Stop being plastic. Stop spending inordinate amounts of money on foolish plastic surgery. Look, if you had to change that much, then you are not beautiful. I'm letting the dust and the sediment of that sink in because these are the kind of women that are not going to get on my channel and listen to a word I've got to say. And if she hears this, in her, the way she's coming across here, this is going to cause her to get pissed, write this off, psychoanalyze me. That's okay. There's a difference between truth and emotionally driven logic. This is an example of a woman who went off emotionally driven logic. And instead of admitting that, she's projecting them in. They won't take care of me. You put yourself out as a fuck stock. And you got a dividend from that. You got fucked. Pardon the vernacular. If you'd have put yourself out as a cerebral person, not a narcissist, not an attention getter, if you had some depth to you, if you'd accepted your looks as they were and just took care of your basic things, don't eat junk food, don't go Nazi at the gym, but do some walking 20 minutes a day, do a hardworking job and do things and take care of yourself reasonably, men would have been attracted to you just on that alone. So don't blame us. For the love of God, lady, don't blame us.
That want to know that you're going to be okay, even when you're an old lady, if they were to pass away. That's a compliment.
What's a compliment from you, lady? What are you going to do for us, lady? You have your list of requirements about all the payment we got to give. What are you going to do for us? Do you hear how one-sided this is? Me, 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 always, always me, me, me. That's all this is. Take care of me. Liability. Dun, 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 dun. Liability. That's what she is. If she had enough money to do all these things 20 years ago, she must have been pulling down some good money. Why does she need us? And conversely, a woman with that mentality, you think she's going to marry somebody who makes blue collar wages? No. What is she looking for? What are most Caucasian women looking for? I want a man who's financially secure. Define that. Just spoil and pamper the shit out of them. Is that what the Bible says? You know what I learned? I was married once to a miserable marriage. She quit her job. We had our kid many, many moons ago. You know, God provided when I was working. We were able to pay the bills and make it. Were we rich? Did we have life insurance? No. But we made it. But these women don't want that. There's a woman I work with. She's told me, she's a friend of mine. We've gone to lunch on occasion. Black woman, pretty woman. She said, I ain't dating nobody unless they're willing to buy me a car and take care of me, Michael. And I haven't asked her out. And I listened to her because she can do whatever she wants. She's my friend. I'm going to put my trip on her. My mind just goes, yeah, you're going to be waiting a while. You're up at my age. And the older we start to get, guess what happens to us? We're less desirable. I'm over the hill. So is she. You want a man to candy ass yourself? And this woman does too. Listen to how pathetic this is. I don't know if she's married or dating somebody now. I hope not. I hope no guy submitted to that. That's crazy.
Okay. If you really think about it, right? We might have 1 million followers on social media.
If you really think about it, you shouldn't have been worried about how many followers you got and what your boobs look like, and you should have just taken basic care of your body. She's telling us to think about it. This woman is embarrassing herself the more I listen to her.
Because we're so hot, we're so sexy and good looking. We have all these men looking at our pictures thinking we're just, so hot.
Because you put yourself out there. Guess what I do when I'm bored? Look at pictures of beautiful women on Facebook. And I heart and thumbs up them. But mentally, I know there's nothing here. that's going to make me run overseas and marry them. Number one, getting involved with somebody overseas costs money. It's involving paperwork, immigration, and a time-consuming process. And as you all know, I got involved with somebody in Hong Kong from the Philippines, and that blew up. She was a natural beauty, not a damn thing wrong with her looks. But there was everything wrong with her personality. It took me 4 years to wake up to the fact she didn't love me. You think that woman's going to listen to my story? That woman heard my story, she'd condemn the hell out of me. Over and over again. That's the default mode of most Caucasian women in the Western nations. They're never wrong. We are. Men are wrong. Remember I told you my grandmother's house hung a plaque. Women's faults are many, but men have only two. Everything they say and everything they do. Implication, men are wrong all the time. Women, nah. Girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. Bullshit. Some of the worst people in history were women. Jezebel. One of Adolf Hitler's generals, commanders, whatever, ran one of the death camps. His wife wanted a lampshade made out of human Jewish skin. That's a nice, sweet lady. You think anything's changed from that? No. But let's continue this madness. This is the first time I've actually picked apart a video.
How many of those million men who are looking at you, how many of them have you on their health insurance?
This is sick.
How many of them are on the phone with the life insurance company right now trying to get you on their life insurance?
You're so airtight in your argument for condemning us for lusting after your pictures in Facebook. But yet you're putting out video with your little high heels on and you're stupid. I had 130 likes and it's 276. Oh my God. You're still doing it. Still vain, still flaky, still superficial. Maybe you're not being used as a cum dump anymore. I don't know. But this is, you haven't changed.
To make sure that you're financially okay if they were to pass away.
Why are women so self-centered? Why do women today in 2022 feel like we got to do all? Is she going to stay home and cook for me? Is she going to clean my house? Is she going to do anything for me? Or does she just think that that's what her body's for? I'm supposed to be happy just to get that carrot dangled of a sexual treat once in a while, a Scooby snack. Are you freaking serious? Marriage to me is a Wells Fargo stagecoach, two horses pulling in the same direction. And if you notice, the stagecoach isn't pulled by a horse. It's pulled by two. God can provide through my income to take care of a woman that is in my life, should he so desire. But if I don't have a life insurance policy for her because I can't afford it, tell me that she's any different than the men who lust. She's lusting after money. She's lusting after security. But we're bad because we're biologically made to be side-oriented. You catch my drift, guys? This is not even fair, but this is what happens with social media. This is what happens with Western women. They think because something comes out of their mouth, it's automatically divinity. You hear the angelic choir. Oh. If this is what you're listening to, you're not going to get very far in life. But in fairness to her, do you know how many women are just like her? Don't you wish your girlfriend was just like she? Millions. Their dog is more important than people. Their right to murder a baby is more important than anything else. My choice, my rights. Oh, but by the way, you men, I need you to take my order, please. This ain't a restaurant. Well, but if you want to get a date, I don't want a date with you. I can't afford you. But I don't want to use you as a cum dump, so don't worry. I'm not going to use you, and that's what porn is for. You can look, jack off, and not bond. Is porn wrong from a Christian perspective? Absolutely. But why do men look at porn? Because they can't get a date. Why can't they get a date? Because they're all bad? Because they're all a-holes, as most American women call us? Or is there something bigger going on? These feminist women that want their choice, no one's going to tell me what to do, no one's going to control me. Oh, but you're going to put qualifiers on us men. Isn't that convenient? You men that want to be simps and can't see through this stuff, that's to your own discredit. Okay?
How many of those million men that are lusting over your photos and your body parts?
Same thing over and over again.
How many of those men are getting up to go to work every single day because the first thing on their mind is, I want to take care of my woman. I want to serve her.
I don't want to take care of these women in social media. Why? First of all, they're too far away, so I cannot have a day in and day out relationship. Do I flirt with people online? Absolutely. Have I told them I'm not going to marry you? I'm not bringing you over here? Yes. But why? If you have faith, honey, I had faith for 4 years over Queen Elizabeth in Hong Kong. Those of you that know me know the story of the ship, the Queen Elizabeth, so you'll get the connection there. She kept telling me, if you have enough faith. I said, why is it you always tell me about faith when it's all coming out of my bank account? And that's when I woke up. The internet is like window shopping. And you're a little boy and you see that cool thing in the window, or you're a little girl and you walk downtown and you see that beautiful bonnet that you can't afford, that beautiful dress. Oh, Janice, I would love to have that dress, but it's so expensive. And you stand there mourning looking at the window. That's all the internet has done. If you got the money, you can go play the game of let's fly, let's meet, let's have a wonderful time, go back, let's petition for visa, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Then you run the risk of that woman coming over here and seeing the way the immature, childish, superficial women are. Look at Nancy Pelosi, an adult. Politics, college education, wears the formal clothing. Let's demonstrate. On national TV. This is what our country is turning out female-wise. So how's that feminism working? How's that Christian thing working? It's not doing a good job. Is it Christianity's fault? Is it the Bible's fault? No. Do I have lust in me? Yes, divinity, I have lust. Is it wrong in God's eyes? Yes, divinity, it is wrong in God's eyes. But are you putting expectation on us you have no business putting? Well, the Bible says that a man's supposed to provide. What is your definition of provide? Give us this day our daily bread. What if you can't afford health insurance and life insurance and nest eggs and all this stuff for your little pampered ass? Aren't you supposed to trust in the Almighty? There's a name for God in the Old Testament called Jehovah Jireh, my provider. His grace is sufficient for me. But you get involved with these women, you men are going to be stressed and on a treadmill trying to please them just as much as she claims that she was trying to please men sexually and it didn't work. Same thing with us. We don't need to do what this woman's asking us to do. She's not looking for love. She's looking for financial security. So it goes back to my original argument that women who lust or tell us that we lust is what they do any worse than what we do. Nope. It's sin. She's not looking at a man and falling in love with that man and her and that man coming together and sitting down and saying, I love you, but here's my income. Here's what I got. What I want is a woman to come and say, I love you, Michael. I know you don't make a lot, but I want to be with you and we'll trust God. And if I got to get a part-time job or I got to do something, really? Now that's my girl. This bonbon bullshit. Let's finish this madness up.
Today, I want to go out and I want to work and be financially successful so I can give her a high quality life where she doesn't have to worry, where she doesn't have to.
Oh, a high quality life where she doesn't have to worry. Did you know men's life expectancy rate, they tend to die quicker than women because we're bearing the brunts of the burden and the stress. And I noticed that when women enter the workplace, watch how much they grandstand. Oh, I worked so hard today. I don't care. Men were doing that for centuries and you just beat them up. Listen to this woman, a narcissist.
Suffer where she doesn't have to.
It's all about worshiping her.
How many men are doing that?
How many women are worth giving all that shit to? They give you a headache. They don't give you make love, but bad sex. Why should you invest in this stock? Her looks are already fucked up because they're not real. Boom.
Seriously, when we think of it, we feel like, oh, we have all these men who think we're so hot and, they all want to.
Do you notice the similarity between her and wah, 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 wah? Kind of sounds the same, don't it?
Do it with us. Like, you could have a million men like that. A million men that think you're hot and sexy cannot compare to one man that goes to work for you every day to give you the best life he can.
Did you hear that? Every day. So 7 days a week, we got to sweat and labor for her. That is not worth me stressing and grinding my life away for that kind of deal. That's not a deal. That's a liability. She doesn't want to do it herself. She wants to put all that burden and stress on us. What is she going to take away from my life to make my life easier? This is why it's better not to be married today in today's climate. This is a narcissist.
Give you, who's worried about your health, who's thinking about.
Bible says, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink. Be anxious for nothing. She wants us to be worried about her. Don't date these kind of women. Avoid the stress, avoid the financial loss to yourself, and the years it will take that this kind of woman is going to take a toll on your life. You notice I had an 11-year-old kid that I was giving counsel to the other day, a black kid, said, Pacific, why is it that women want so much and think that it should be given to them? And I laughed. I said, you actually get that? He goes, yeah, I hate it. Women want their way and they demand their way and they get their way. And I said, the reason that happens is because we let them do it. I said, when men stand up and get a spine and start saying, no, that's not my job. Is this a woman who has humility? Is this a woman who trusts in God to provide? No. She's already believed in the Hollywood fairy tale of Prince Charming. This is sick.
You all the time, who's thinking, how can I make sure she's safe in life? How can I make sure that if she gets sick, she can go to the hospital, she can see a doctor, she can have medicine?
So what she's saying, that all of us men that don't earn a dollar amount that's going to cost to take care of her sorry ass, she's going to reject us all. But then she's getting upset that all these men that fucked her and weren't satisfied enough to stay, she's offended by that. So when men rejected her, it's not okay, but she can reject all of us based on our finances. Tell me where that's Christian liberty or Christian virtue, and I'll tell you that's a lie.
How can I make sure that she's okay if I get into a car accident tomorrow and I die? I want to make sure she's taken care of for the rest of her life.
Oh, never mind if we die. Oh, too bad. Thanks for the money train. Yeah, I'm going to refrain from saying what I want to say about this woman. But they're not nice things coming to my mind right now, so we're going to shut up. Pacific is going to take the high road and not take the low road here. That's crap, and I'm being nice. All about her. Snow globe. Anybody remember that? Do I need to define it? Snow globe women. Snow globe people. There's a lot of that white middle class today. They haven't gone through tough stuff. They got their SUVs and their heated seats and their little doggy, and they got their little life. And somebody bumps their snow globe and they rattled. Somebody mowed 2 inches over into my property. Harold, the world's coming to an end. You got those kind of people. This woman is a snow globe. She'll reject me because I don't earn the kind of money she needs. She'll reject me because I don't earn the kind of money that she thinks that she needs. That is my job to provide all of this for her. Who does this princess, this narcissist, this queen Nefertiti think she is? And she's already damaged her looks. She's already fucked guy after guy after guy, got a troop of children with all the fathers not there. Liability. Did you hear what the guy from JP Morgan wrote? A woman on a dating site, a woman just like her. I want a man who's financially secure, earns 6-digit figures. And she had all her cheesecake photos up. Remember when I used to do Craigslist ads and read them off to you and y'all liked that? Well, those are gone now. They stopped doing all that. But guess what? The same shit's going on all the dating sites you can get online. Women saying what they want, but not one of them saying what they'll give. One-way street, self-centered. This isn't love. That woman gets up in the morning and thinks, I've got a vagina and I've got some nipples. The guy better give me everything to get those. No, we're not. You're a dime a dozen. You got a lot of nerve. Now you're almost 40. You're getting to the point of being a washed up beached whale, just like I am. And I'm not out of the running yet, by the way. You know, it's funny is here where I live in the South, there are black women that if there wasn't all the political bull crap, they would date me knowing that I'm not high income. But I take care of my bills and I'm remodeling my house and stay out of debt. That woman would financially break my back. And she thinks that that's love. That is not what the Bible teaches about love. She's got a wrong view that I'm supposed to take care of her. If I get in a car crash and die, Isn't that nice? But if she dies, she doesn't have to get anything on me. You see the one-sided narrative there? She wants to bring in old-fashioned values, old-fashioned, not biblical, old-fashioned traditional values. Is she the definition of a virtuous woman in Proverbs? Let's attack her on that level right there. Because I'm gonna go, boy. This kind of stuff, we need to address this. Be interesting to see if she listens to this. An excellent wife who can find, for her worth is far above jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. Oh, listen to this. This is not even in this woman's narrative on YouTube. Listen to this. She looks for wool and flax and works with her hands in delight. She is like merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She rises also while it is still night and gives food to her household and portions to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it from her earnings. From her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and makes her arms strong. This woman wants to go to the gym, sit on her ass, do what she wants, and you're going to pay. Does this woman even have any connection to the Proverbs definition of a virtuous woman, a virtuous wife? No. She senses that her gain is good. Her lamp does not go out at night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hands grasp the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor, and she stretches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She makes coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates while he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies belts to the tradesmen. Strength and dignity are her clothes. I could go on. Is this woman anywhere remotely close to that? She wants the gravy boat. She wants the mail ship to roll into dock and give her all the gravy boat. Virtuous woman saying that woman is out doing her job while the husband's doing his job. She makes earnings, buys a field, and keeps the revenue coming in and helps and comes alongside of her husband and caring for the children and her man. This woman, liability. So JP Morgan, the vice president of JP Morgan, wrote this stuck-up, conceited white woman who had selfie after selfie, and he said the same thing I did, but in a different language. I used the one-string guitar. And he said, he says, I'm an investor. And when I invest for my clients, I have to look at what is called risk. And if something is too risky, I won't invest in it. You advertise yourself as good looking and you want a man with 6-digit figures. I got all the requirements you're looking for. But as an investor, all you have is your looks. When your looks go, what do I have in you? Sincerely, so-and-so vice president, JP Morgan Investment. Boom. She's got time to sit on YouTube and pine away. And I hope to God some man didn't marry her and give her this self-centered lifestyle of hers, because that is what keeps this shit going. Where men, the simps, give into this and pedestalize these women to the point of deity and queen status. And I'm going to tell you again, I'm not planning on having kids. I've done my turn in the barrel. 57, I don't want children. But if I had a daughter, I would never call her my princess. I've seen the effects of that. Spoiled, rotten, brats, rude to everybody. Geez, my daughter, you get on that school bus, you say hello and good morning to your driver, and you say thank you to the driver, and you say thank you to the postman when he's there, and you're picking up the mail, and you don't ignore everybody that's serving you. This woman here, she wants a free ride.
Life. How many men are following you on social media who have all those things in mind? maybe 0. Probably 0. Maybe 1. Maybe 0 right now, and maybe 1 is coming in the future. Just what I'm trying to express to you is don't be impressed. Don't be flattered because somebody thinks you're hot. And don't spend your whole life trying to keep up with this standard of beauty. Yes.
And men, don't spend your whole life going after women that will make you work your butt off and create more stress and financial duress on your life to fund their narcissism. Don't go after the hot women. They're high maintenance and they're costly. She admitted that all the old boyfriends she had chose women not as beautiful as her. Do you notice? I'm beautiful. In her mind, a legend in her mind, her own mind. Why did they choose lesser women? Maybe they did settle down. Maybe they found something in those women that they couldn't resist. She still didn't get it. Thinking that we owe her.
It's important in some ways, but don't let it consume your mind and your heart and your life and take all your money and put you in a position where you spend all your money on plastic surgery and you can't afford other things.
But you won't help the guy out with anything. You can spend all this money, but let's get off of this. I'm done. She's a big yawn. One video, she said sugar daddy is a stupid word. Men asking for sex. What he's actually saying. Exotic floor work routine practice. Exotic dancer. Here she is. She is not a 10, by the way. Not even close. Wants everybody to see this. I mean, this is her video content, folks. Let's get this off. Sugar baby payday collecting your money. Sugar babies getting cars from sugar daddies. Manifesting with home decor. Can't remember the point of dating and realize quantum. Blah, what is that? Cutting everyone out of your life temporarily. Foolproof sugar baby excuse for your behavior and shenanigans. Repetitive lessons in self-love. Boom. That red flag alone ought to drive every man away from her. If there's one thing this culture has too much of is self-love. When women focus on self-love, they are a narcissist. Why some men bang anything? About to start crying for no reason. Mid-luteal phase talk. Realism, pessimism, eating, blah, blah, blah. Mid-luteal phase. What is luteal? Is this another one of her buzzwords? Will he pay my bill? Part 2. Speak the man's desired behavior into existence. Will he pay my bill? Part 1. Can't let great guys cock block me. Laugh at leaving poor people behind. What's this?
Get 4 select tires for just $2.99.
Leaving poor people behind. Let's see where this is going. But do you see what her videos focus on? Dogging men, downing men, sugar babies.
Hey girls, I'm on the toilet right now.
On the toilet.
I'm hiding in the bathroom at a very fancy restaurant in Santiago, Dominican Republic. And I just had a download while I was eating my dinner by myself. And I've been drinking a little bit, so I hope I can express this properly.
And this is a woman who wants a man to take care of her. And she's drinking in another country.
Before I lost the download. just occurred to me that I'm having a problem letting go of poor people.
Here we go. It's all
poor
about
people,
money.
People that don't have a lot of money, men especially.
Oh, there we go. Man ATM. That's what she's after. Isn't this a fun video? I'm done. We're done. We're going to get out of this. Miss Divinity is nothing divine. This is not of God. Her little luteal phase and her little ABCs and buzzwords and BBLs and all that. Time to put that on the back of a garbage barge and dump it in the Hudson Bay like they used to do up until the 1940s or 50s. Yes, folks, this is the problem. I'm getting older and I'm finally seeing more clearly. Just say no to modern American dating. Period. This woman in her tiny little mind is going to reject those of us that don't make the income that she thinks a man should make. I wonder if she realizes what this world would look like if there were no truck drivers and bus drivers and people that work with students and people that are janitors and food service workers and all the different lowly jobs out there. And what she's saying is that anybody who does any of those jobs is not marriage material. Is that what this says? If we'd run everything through the filter of the truth of God's word, if we run everything through the filter of listening to what they're saying, they fail the test. You want women like that? Women that are marrying an ATM. They want an ATM. That's it. She's still shallow. She's still entitled. She's still immature. I'm sitting on the toilet. I did a video of my cat shitting. My words. You want to get involved with a woman like that? Flake, 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 flake. I mean, you want frosted flakes, there you go. 20 years ago, I spent all this money. That's a liability. She has nothing to give anybody. She's bored, sitting on the toilet doing a video. I had to do a download. Oh, what? In the bowl or on this? She begs to be critiqued. But there are men out there that'll see her. Oh, God, she's good looking. Please, men. But her videos are more catering to the ladies and putting men on blast. And then all the comments are closed under all the videos that deal with the men. She doesn't want to hear feedback. That's bold, right? That's courageous, right? You get a one-sided narrative. No one can contradict you. No one can say you're so wrong. So that's why I do this video. She don't want comments? She better not leave any on mine because I'll just delete them all. What I'm saying is the truth. That crap, it's the same thing I said earlier tonight. Women are predictable in our culture, cookie cutter, homogenized. They go after the same thing. They think that they're so unique. She wants Prince Charming in a can. She wants the money. So when you get to the end of her BS and her dialogue and that monologue and that want, and men lust is not a compliment, broken record, repeat, rinse and repeat, broken record, men lusting is not a compliment. Now, if you want to get the surgery for yourself, Why are we encouraging that? She's blaming men. She's blaming the culture instead of taking responsibility for her own bullshit. Classic Western women. Classic. Facebook has given rise to soft porn. Facebook has given rise to major narcissism among women. Even in the Philippines, I've noticed a shift in the last few years. I'm getting more friend requests from Thailand, but Thailand's got a problem now. You got these single, what used to be sweet women. They got their liquor bottle. They're leaning against the fancy car. They got attitudes. They don't want me. Filipinas that think they're all that and got 10,000 selfies, they don't want me. You got women that'll take off their clothes and then they're asking you for money. Can you send me money for me and my kids? Oh, is that why you did the strip tease? Is that why you did that? Women are connected with their lust for money just as a man is connected with lust for a woman. The difference being is that we lust for a woman because God gave us the biological desire to procreate and to be with a woman, whereas women simply use the man's money to get what they want. So while we're condemned for having lust, and lust is wrong according to Christ, but the desire for a woman is not wrong. But for women to put all these qualifiers, health insurance and life insurance and enough money to take care of me if something happens to them, why don't you go get a fucking job? Even the virtuous woman, her hands are not slack. She makes clothing for her family. She sells clothing for profit. She buys a field. She invests and keeps the money going while her husband's working. When we let a woman like divinity define this, we're living in a lopsided world. So I had my fun. Thank you for listening. 2020 has been a major shift. The world is changing very fast, but the same stupid, stale, moldy cheese mentality of Western women hasn't changed a bit. Better to go MGTOW. Better to do without. Do you know how much money I've saved in the last 4 years not dating? Lots. Instead of wasting money on dates, I can buy some boards to repair a wall or to, panel this or to do that or put up sheetrock and doing molding right now. I don't think I need to tell my viewers, don't pursue a woman like that. I think those of you that are regulars on my channel, you wouldn't waste your time with them at all. That's good. At least you've learned too. One thing I've learned, no matter where you go, women are women and men are men. And women eventually get under your skin because we're just so different than each other. But God's going to have to save that woman from herself. Because that's all she's into is herself. I want to know that a man's going to take care of me. I want to know. Do you really want to know? But has she offered anything in her video to us in bashing men, denigrating us, and in saying lust is not a compliment? I think we all know that. But we know that girls still like to hear that, including herself. She admitted it. But let's lambaste the men, but let's admit that she likes the compliment. This is silly. I'm glad I had something. And I did exactly what I could have written a diatribe. And I said, I noticed that all these videos where you put men on blast, we're not allowed to comment, so I'll leave one here. Thank you for giving me something to do a video about. I'll be discussing this tonight or shortly. I'm sure that'll catch her ego and go, what is this guy? And you know what she'd do? She'd watch my other videos and go, this guy is, yeah. They cannot handle this kind of truth. They cannot handle a man like me who calls the bullshit. They want to be on top. They want to analyze us all. They don't want to be underneath any man's judgment of them. Remember what they say, you can't judge me, only God can judge you. If that's true, then quit judging us men. But that's not the case. The Bible gives me the right to judge. Nuh-uh, it says, judge not lest you be judged. I said, yeah, that's talking about people judging that don't have the right to judge. It talks about you have a beam in your eye. You must first remove the beam so you can see the splinter in somebody else's. What is he talking about? The religious leaders claimed to know him. They didn't. They were judging the disciples. Your disciples are eating heads of grain with unwashed hands. Jesus said, really? Really? It's not what goes into the mouth that makes you unclean. It's what comes out of the heart. He said, judge not lest you be judged, for you will be judged by the same standard you level out. But then he tells the church, know ye not, you shall judge angels? Why are you taking your brother to court? Judge ye among yourselves. The Bible says to test the spirits. Does that mean I hand them a written exam? True or false? It means I'm supposed to judge what somebody's saying and what's going on around me, whether this is coming from the devil, whatever, we're supposed to judge. It says, by their fruits you should know them. We are given imperatives to judge, and I have the right to judge women that are judging men, and I have the right to counteract, rebuttal, and stand up. You know, it's been a one-sided narrative where the Democrats are calling the Republicans evil and terrorists and fascists and on it goes, and racist. And when somebody finally stands up and says, this is bullcrap, oh, the Democrats have a fit. Same with the females in our society. They get the stage every day to bash men. They've done it in the sitcoms. The media does it. It's rampant. So when a guy like me stands up and calls it out in no shame fashion, women only have one of two reactions: put me on total ignore, or say, oh my God, this guy's got problems. This guy, I mean, you know what's going to happen. Somebody took back their like. It was 2 likes and somebody took it back. When you speak the kind of truth I speak, you're going to be alone. When you speak the kind of truth I speak, you're not going to attract most of the women out there, because most women aren't followers of truth. They claim to know the truth. They claim to believe the truth. Divinity doesn't know a thing about the divine one, because what she's talking about is not honoring to the truth of God. Yes, a wise man cares for the needs of his family, but if a wise man can't provide those things, he's supposed to trust in God. And a woman should not be trusting on a man's life insurance policy. Did they have this stuff 100 years ago? Health insurance, life? No. It's funny how women today can increase the expectations on us that never were meant to be on us. The Bible says the man was supposed to be head of his house. The wife was supposed to be submissive. Since when does this woman get to stand up and say, you got to meet all these requirements? Excuse me, I didn't know I was at a job. I don't need to meet any requirements for you. I need to get up, go to work every day. I need to love you as Christ loved the church. But your little wish list of what you think I need to do, no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. What does the Apostle Paul say? Let us with food and shelter therewith be content. women might want to learn something about the word contentment in our culture. But anyways, this has been interesting. This is Pacific signing off.